Hi. So I'm going to go over this concept map that I made, but first I want to say a few things. Eliezer Yudkowsky, one of the founders and the most prominent figures in AI alignment, I think he's a hero. I think his contribution to humanity cannot be overstated. Maybe he's one of the most important figures in human history. I'm not sure that's an exaggeration, but he had a huge blind spot. The way that Eliezer sees the world is totally different than the way that science sees the world. Eliezer Yudkowsky thinks animals are not sentient. Almost all animals are not sentient, while science is telling us that probably all vertebrates are sentient and maybe many other invertebrates. So Eliezer has a very narrow point of view of the world, and with this point of view, he built many of the philosophical work in the space, created many of the concepts in this space, and this space, which was to an extent shaped on his, according to his mind and his agenda, is missing. I think it speaks to the fact that it's missing concepts which emphasize the need to create something which is a powerful force for all sentient beings. So that's what I'm going to talk about today, and we'll walk through the existing terms and see what may be added to those terms. Generally, when you look at human history of the last tens of thousands of years or even more, you can see that intelligence has scaled, but not so much compassion and wisdom. And I'm going to make this distinction, and I'm going to come from the point of view who looks primarily at three different questions. And this was inspired to an extent by the course Buddhism for AI, and also some of the work of Jamie Woodhouse from the Sentientism podcast. So there are three main questions which I think should guide us. The first one is what is? That means what is true, what exists in the world. The second question is what is good? That's morality. And the third question is how to get from what is to what is good. So intelligence and data are very much interconnected to what is. The more intelligent you are, the better data, and the more data that you have, you can understand better what is in the world. What's the world? How does it behave? And the more compassion you have, the better you can understand what is good. And the third is wisdom. Wisdom is the combination of intelligence and compassion, of what is and what is good. If we deeply understand the world and we deeply understand what is good, we can create the path to combine those two together and walk to the path from what is to what is good. And that's, of course, not an easy thing to do. Now, if you have a lot of intelligence and you don't have compassion, that's actually a horrible thing. If you have a lot of compassion but you don't have intelligence, the results could be as catastrophic as the first scenario I portrayed. We know the way to hell is paved with good intentions. Wisdom is the combination of both. And in order to succeed, really succeed with AI alignment, we need both of them. Now, you can also see this in the history of the world, from physics to chemistry to biology to culture to humans building technology and building AI. You have this enormous scale of compute, of intelligence, of complexity, of maybe concentration of power in fewer hands, but you don't have acceleration of wisdom. And humans call themselves the wise man, but I'm not sure we are the wise man. I have to be honest. I think we're the smart man, not the wise man or the wise human. And if you look at the history of humans, first they killed a lot of animals. Then, with the agricultural revolution, they killed whole habitats. And afterwards, they exterminated landscapes, ecological systems with the industrial revolution. So the fact that humans are destroying life on Earth should be a clear red flag to us that AI alignment should not continue the business as usual path of humans, but we gotta make sure it follows a different path, a kinder path. And I think there's a very important distinction here. While the collective mind of humanity has enormous intelligence, but almost no wisdom and compassion because it leads humans to destroying so many lives on this planet, so many wild animals that have been killed only in the last decades. Most wild animals on the planet, on planet Earth, were killed in the last decades. The individual minds of humans actually has much better values than that. The individual mind don't want to kill animals, but the collective mind is the one pushing for this extermination. So I think that begs the argument that we need human alignment and not only AI alignment, and I will speak a little bit about that. So let's dive into the concepts and look at the big challenges ahead of us. As you can see here, generally I see the endeavor to use technology, to use AI to make a good world divided into four main components. One is AI alignment, which, as you know, we don't really know currently. Humanity don't know how to align AI. In fact, we have AIs behaving, top models behaving in a way that we don't want, such as hallucinations, lying, telling things which are not true. It's not that they are making mistakes, though they're making that as well. It's deliberately just telling things which are falsehood. For example, they say that in this link you can find a quote from someone, and there isn't anything in this link about this person saying something like that. So if that were a worker that you had, you would have fired him immediately. You would have said, this is a worker that I cannot trust. It just lies. So we still don't know how to solve AI alignment. And we hope that if we solve AI alignment, that could also lead to superintelligence misalignment. So the next model is also going to be aligned with what we want. I am deliberately not saying ASI, artificial superintelligence, but just SI, superintelligence, because we don't know the nature of this intelligence. It will be created not by us, but by artificial intelligence. Maybe it will be a biological intelligence. Maybe it will be some combination of artificial and biological intelligence. Maybe it's going to be a quantum intelligence. I don't know, something completely new that we haven't thought about. So I don't even want to call it artificial superintelligence, but just a superintelligence. And of course, we don't know how to align that as well. What do we have here above? We have human alignment. And that is a concept that I heard, but it's very esoteric, almost not talked about at all. And human alignment is just about making ourselves align with the good, with the right values, with the right rationality, with the right understanding of reality, having the right data. So human alignment is acting in wisdom with intelligence and compassion. And I think currently, and we've seen that over the history of the last thousands of years and much more than that, humanity is not aligned, unfortunately. Maybe the other way around. We see that humanity is destroying life on this planet and is killing so many individuals. And we see that though intelligence, as we saw, is on the rise, wisdom is not on the rise. And what do we have above? Above human intelligence, human alignment, sorry, we have what I call God alignment. What is God alignment? God alignment is aligning the basic, I would say, laws of physics, or the laws that govern the universe, the laws that lead to evolution. If you look at the history as we did of this planet, it doesn't seem like the laws that govern it are directing it towards a better world, a more compassionate world, a world with better subjective experiences. It does seem to govern it in a way for more intelligence, for more compute, for more concentration of power in the hands of the few, a few. But it doesn't seem to be directing all of that to good. And maybe there is a way. It's very theoretical and I have no idea how, but maybe there is a way to align the laws of the universe with wisdom, with compassion. I think it speaks a little bit to a thing that is called fine-tuning argument. The fine-tuning argument, let me read you the definition of the fine-tuning argument. The fine-tuning universe is the hypothesis that because life as we know it could not exist if the constants of nature, such as the electron charge, the gravitational constant, and others, had been even slightly different, the universe must be tuned specifically for life. So this is an argument for the existence of God. I think there are strong counter arguments to this argument. But this argument says all these constants, like the gravitational constant, is so accurate. You change just one small digit, and suddenly you don't have any possibility of anything intelligent and anything interesting happening in the world. It's just atoms floating. You don't have anything which create these very complex structures, which created biology and DNA and life and brains, which later on created artificial brains and all of that. And I think you could also say that if fine-tuning did somehow make the world increase in complexity and in intelligence, maybe it's also possible theoretically that it will increase in compassion and in wisdom. I don't know, but I think it's worth writing it and thinking about it to an extent. And if we solve AI alignment, if we solve human alignment, and if we solve AI alignment, and if we solve or AI alignment will solve superintelligence alignment, maybe, just maybe, somehow it can also lead to God alignment, this way or the other. Now let's dive into AI alignment, because I think that is, here we're really diving into the concepts, a lot of concepts that are used in the AI space. Let's understand what it's made of. I think mainly three different parts. The first one is value alignment, value selection. Value selection. What are the values that we select for the AI? Is it to be sentient kind, to be good for all sentient beings? Is it to be human-centric, like you see here, to focus mainly on humans? Is it to be a utilitarian? Is it to be the ontologist? What are the specific values that we're telling AI this is the way to behave? This is a term which is almost unused, and different scholars use different terms for this, but I think it's mainly very neglected, and there isn't like one term that everybody uses and is in discussion. And I think that's very, very important. In the less wrong forum, I think the closest term I saw to this is called the steering problem. Steering problem means that, let's say we control AI, where do we steer it to? So this is value selection. The second thing is technical alignment, which is just about control, making AI do what we want it to do. We'll dive into that. And the third is AI capabilities. So think about it. You can have a model which has some kind of values, maybe even the right values. Let's say it speaks only the truth, and it's very much aligned. It does exactly what you want. For example, solve some problems in math, but not very hard problems. The capabilities of this model doesn't enable it really to change the world in a very profound way. So this is also important to keep in mind, that you have value selection, you have technical alignment, but the capabilities are the ones that creating the different scenarios and changing also the responsibilities that we have for these models. Of course, the more capable they are, the bigger the responsibilities that we have. And capabilities are mainly around three things. Or three things control capability: compute. The more compute, the more energy you put, the more calculations a model is doing, the smarter it gets. This understanding is called the scaling hypothesis, and it may seem very natural to us now. Actually, just 5 years ago, the consensus among scientists in machine learning and neural networks were the opposite, that with scaling, the model would get dumber, more stupid. And actually, this is the case. Like when you see with scaling, performance decreases, but then also afterwards increases and increases a lot. And this was the thing that they found out like 5 years ago, that if you continue to scale, though the model's performance decreases, it increases afterwards, and we don't know for how much long. Some people think it's going to increase a lot more. Some people think it's going to stop very soon. Or even has already begun to stop to a certain extent. We don't know. But the scaling hypothesis says just put more compute, put more calculations, put more energy, and you'll get better models. So far, it seems to be working. Though you put, let's say, if the compute graph is exponential, you get linear increasing capabilities. So exponential increase in compute leads to linear increase in capabilities. That's compute. Data. These models scraped almost the whole internet, so there is not a lot of public data left yet, though the internet is just a fraction of human data. Think about your thoughts. Most of them are not on the internet. They are on your personal computer or somewhere else. So most of the human knowledge, I don't think it's on the internet, but maybe the most reliable knowledge and the most accessible knowledge is. And also these models are making a lot of synthetic data, which means data that doesn't exist currently in the world, the model is creating it. And I think I read somewhere some estimation that one of the last top models of OpenAI had like 20% or even 30% of the data generated synthetically. So I don't know if that's true, but synthetic data is definitely a big thing now. The more data you have, the better. And the third is algorithms. The better the algorithms are, the less data you need and the less compute you need to be able to solve problems. So compute, and of course, with better algorithms, you can solve harder problems. So compute, data, and algorithms. Now let's go into technical alignment and see what technical alignment is made of. It's basically about control. How do we control these models? And the first thing I would mention is interpretability. Those models are like a black box. You look inside, you don't really understand what's going on there. Scientists don't understand how a model performs the way it performs. The way to check how a model behaves is just to try it out, just to build it and try and see how it works. So that's a very big issue. And there have been some developments and progress with interpretability, but not a lot. Generally speaking, those models are still a black box. Other than that, you have controllability, corrigibility, and robustness. What is controllability? Just doing what we want it to do. Corrigibility, that's important. Let me read you the definition of corrigibility. Corrigible agents allow themselves to be corrected from our standpoint by human programmers and don't experience instrumental pressure to avoid correction. And that's very important. We want to change our minds. We want to say something to the AI, this is your goal, and after a week, change it to whatever we want, or some instructions or anything. So we want those models to be flexible. And the third thing I want to mention here is robustness, which means the models will also behave the way you want to behave in extreme situations. We know this from humans. Some humans are very ethical and behave very, very well, but when it comes to extreme situations, suddenly that could change and they can behave very immorally. We don't want that to happen with AI. We want to make sure that AI behaves well in any kind of situation. So, value alignment. Value alignment is a term that is quite used in the AI space, and it means AI behaving the way according to the values that we want. Now you can ask, okay, what's the difference between that and technical alignment? It's a bit similar, but technical alignment is much broader. It's also about interpretability. It's about other stuff. Value alignment is just about the model behaving according to the values that we specified. And value alignment is tied to two sub-concepts, which are outer alignment and inner alignment. What are these? So outer alignment is how well an AI specified objective aligns with what we actually want him to do. So did we ask the right thing? That's outer alignment. And this can be understood maybe through the paperclip experiment, theoretical experiment of Bostrom. What happens if we ask the AI to create as much paperclips as possible because we have a company that is selling paperclips? AI can turn the whole world into paperclips and, of course, destroy everything, destroy every intelligent life as it is. That's a problem of outer alignment, mainly, because we didn't specify the right goal. We didn't understand what we need to ask the AI to do in order for it to really align with our values. So that's outer alignment. And inner alignment, which is whether the AI learned goals that matches the goals specified by its designers. So this is the question of, did the AI learn to want what we meant? So let's say we got the outer alignment right. We didn't tell him just make as much paperclips as possible. We said make paperclips by obeying the law and not destroying life, and etc., etc., etc. Let's say we really specified exactly what we want. It still doesn't mean that the AI is going to learn the right behaviors and behave well. So that's inner alignment, and it's also connected to different sub-concepts, which are not going to go to now. Now let's talk about the connection between value alignment and the things up here, because I think they are very important. Also to understand how this all can be connected to all sentient beings and different groups' agendas. So with value alignment, you have a few alignment strategies, different value alignment strategies, some methods, some techniques, and some frameworks. So one method, for example, as you can see here, is learning from human behavior. It means the AI doesn't get a list of values. This is true, this is not true, do this, do this, do this, do this. But he just watches how humans behave and learns from that. I think this can be very dangerous because human stated values are actually much better than their deeds. As we said, the human collective intelligence is destroying life on this planet, is killing everything around. But the human individuals, their stated values actually are not like that. They don't like to kill everything around. They value life. They value subjective experiences, and they don't want to increase suffering in the world. So it's quite dangerous if AI, I think, is only watching human behavior. And we have RLHF, another method of alignment to AI values, which are the AI models generates multiple outputs in response to prompts, and humans ranking them and comparing them to each other. So that's reinforcement learning from human feedback. And you have constitutional AI, which is a method where AI systems is trained to follow a set of guidelines and principles. It's like a constitution. You have some paper, fundamental paper that the AI learns very deeply and follows. And you have, this is a technique, and you have a framework to work on AI values. And this is called CEV. This is also a concept, like many concepts here, which were created by Eliezer Yudkowsky. CEV stands for Coherent Extrapolated Volition. And it means basically that we don't want AI to act according to our values. We want AI to act according to what our values would have been if we knew everything that AI knows, if we could think as fast as the AI and consider all the arguments, if we knew ourselves perfectly, if we have better self-control and self-modification, if we had all the time in the world, etc. So it's extrapolation of our values. There is a researcher, Adria, who wrote an interesting paper called Sentientist, Coherent Extrapolated Volition, which I really advise you to read. So this is a framework, actually. It's not specifying exactly what the values are, just saying take human values, not at face value, but just think how you would extrapolate them if we have all of this time and rationality and all of that. Okay, so that's about that. Let's see what other concepts we have here. AI value selection for AI can lead to, and technical AI alignment can lead into a sentient kind alignment. Sentient kind, like humankind, all sentient beings, can lead to a sentient kind alignment with other values. According to the value selection, it can also lead to a human-centric alignment. And this could lead to different kinds of AI. So you have a friendly AI, which is a concept, again, by Eliezer Yudkowsky, which just means an AI that acts according to our desires and wishes. And we need to create new concepts which are talking about an AI which is aligned with the interests of all sentient beings and acts to be a positive force for all sentient beings, like a sentient-centric AI. I wrote here Buddha AI because in the course AI for Buddhism, they talk about the need to make AI awakened, enlightened, walk the path of Buddha, of know thyself, of self-awakening, and all of that. So that can also be some kind of a sentient kind alignment, but it's different. It comes from a different perspective, from a different worldview. So that is, I call it a Buddha AI. I don't think they use this term. So that is the different kinds of AI, which could be the product, the fruit of all of this different work at different values. And here I talk about the AI risks for a little bit. The way the OpenAI frames it or categorizes it, you have three main risks. One is a misaligned AI, which is all of this is a lot about a misaligned AI. What happens in this? How do we prevent a misaligned AI? And they also talk about AI social disruption. So it could be, even if the AI is not so much misaligned, that you get so much, for example, so much content, some of it is fake and some of it is true, that our society don't know how to distinguish one from the other, and it creates huge social disruption. Or bad actors, people that are using AI to do bad things. And this connects to other concepts like meaning economy and post-labor economy and AI timelines and so on. Now I want to move to the upper part of this concept map and talk to you a little bit about that. So here we have human alignment. And actually, human alignment, maybe I'll talk just about that for a second because I didn't think I talked about it. Okay. So all of that is also connected to these two axes, which one of them is full alignment, coexistence. So coexistence is us having a kind of a relationship with AI or super intelligence that is not just we are controlling it completely, but we have a sort of give and take relationship, or what it says, just some kind of a coexistence. Most people want full alignment, but some people are talking about coexistence. I saw some poll within EA that says that women are more open to coexistence than men within EA. And misalignment, I don't think almost anyone wants misalignment. And the other axis is acceleration, deceleration, pause, and stop. You have an organization called Stop AI, which is, I think, the most radical organization maybe in the AI space, one of the radical ones, says just stop it completely. You have Pause AI, which says just halt everything for now, deceleration, acceleration. Okay, now let's talk about human alignment. Human alignment is very important because without human alignment, maybe we cannot really have AI alignment, right? Maybe we could, but certainly human alignment will help AI alignment and is a big part of AI alignment. And I think human alignment, generally speaking, can also be divided into the same three parts. The first part is, like we said, value selection, which is the human morality. What is the morality of humans, which will lead us to the right value selection? The second part is the technical alignment. How do we control ourselves? It's not an easy task, and we know we're not aligned to what we want. Do you do everything that you want to do? Are you completely aligned with your beliefs and desires and rational decisions? If you decide you want to stop smoking or eat less or work 12 hours a day or whatever you want, do you just do it? Or you know that you have other tendencies? That is human alignment, and it's also about control. Interpretability is the study of the human mind, psychology, cognition, controllability, corrigibility, robustness. I think it's interesting to look at the concept we use in AI with humans. They play out a little differently, but in many ways I think they're similar. And we also are trying to get to value alignment, and we also have different strategies to value alignment. One of the strategies, one of the techniques, for example, is meditation. Meditation is a technique of alignment. How do I act according to my values? To an extent, you can see it as an alignment. You can also see it kind of a way maybe to a little bit change the algorithms inside your mind. We'll talk about that just in a second. Other techniques might be taking psychiatric drugs, which can help you align with the way that you want to behave, maybe to an extent the way that society wants you to behave, etc. And we have human capabilities. And I think it plays out differently than with AI, but I think you can also think about compute data and algorithms. I start with data. We're flooded with data in the social media age, and we need to make sure that the data that we receive is good data, is true, and is also the right data to make us better in understanding the world and better in compassion. And that means better in wisdom. And the algorithms, unfortunately, not like AI, we cannot change the algorithms in our minds. Maybe just a little bit with meditation or with psychiatric drugs or with others. We change like the inner framework, but it's very limited. It's not like AI, which has the ability to change itself very dramatically and radically. And compute, unlike AI also, we're limited in our compute. I can't just decide that I'm gonna have twice the compute power that I used to have just a year ago. But I think we can use our compute more for good and say we allocate more of this compute to know the world better and know what's important to know. News, for example, is not about the important stuff. It's about the less important stuff. It's not seeing the big picture. And use this compute to be better and to do good. And I think that's very important. If you just walk the capitalistic path, it's not necessarily that most of your compute will be used for good. Of course, it's not necessarily true if you walk other paths as well. So that's about human capabilities and all of that. So I think we went through all of the concepts that I wanted to go through. So this is the concept map. I think it's interesting, as I said, to think about human alignment in the terms that we think about AI alignment, but also maybe the other way around. If you have some concepts about human alignment, you can think about AI alignment in those new concepts and terms. And you can see here those gray ones are the terms that are non-existent at all, or existent but not very much used, and we need to have them, I think, much more prominent in the conversation. And we also need to redefine some concepts, like, for example, a misaligned AI. Is an AI which is helping humans to do their, let's say, regular deeds, business as usual, is that an aligned AI? I'm not sure, because if we want to avoid X risk and S risk, if we want to avoid extinction and mass suffering, we need not continue the path AI, which is just helping humans continue the way they used to for thousands of years, is a misaligned superintelligence. And only an AI which pushes humanity and pushes the world for better subjective experiences, for reducing suffering, that's an aligned AI, in my mind. So now let's go to the last part of this too much talk. There's a famous quote from E.O. Wilson. He's a famous ecologist who said, the real problem of humanity is the following. We have Paleolithic emotions, medieval institutions, and godlike technology. And this is terrifically dangerous. And it's now approaching a point of crisis overall. So I think the Paleolithic emotions are our monkey brains. This speaks human alignment, trying to get our monkey brains to be more aligned with wisdom. God technology speaks to AI alignment, trying to make this artificial intelligence also aligned with wisdom. And when we talk about medieval institutions, I think that speaks to AI governance, which is also trying to steer this whole boat in the right direction. So to conclude, I think if we really want alignment, moral alignment, and I think moral alignment, unlike AI safety, is a broader vision. Moral alignment emphasizes value selection. AI safety almost doesn't deal with value selection at all. It does, I mean, theoretically it should also include value selection, but practically it almost doesn't. Moral alignment, on the other hand, emphasizes value selection, emphasizes wisdom as the goal, not only intelligence and not only compassion, only the combination of those two together. Moral alignment also includes, to an extent, though maybe it's not the emphasis, human alignment. I think we need to have a human alignment movement. It's a new story. Moral alignment encapsulates all of these different components in order, at the end, to reach a sentient-centric AI, which is the goal. So there is the difference between moral alignment and AI safety, which I think is more narrow, is more human-centric, and is also more focused on the worst scenarios. So to conclude, I think as humanity, we cannot continue with the same state of mind, with the same aspirations, with the same modus operandi as we used to have before. If we're creating a God, we cannot be narrow-minded. We need to be as wide as possible. If we're creating a general intelligence, an artificial general intelligence, general means it encapsulates a lot of different things. We should also, our intelligence, our aspirations, our point of view should encapsulate a much wider perspective. We need to create a new story, a new paradigm, a new movement, a new horizon for humanity in order to reach and to be able to stand up to those incredible challenges of aligning ourselves, aligning AI, and later on aligning the superintelligence.